The English language is the product of tens of thousands of years of human evolution, human technology, human development, and it is just simply a result of, increasing desires to be able to communicate. And it's one of the most, spoken languages in the entire world. A lot of people learn it as their second language just due to the sheer amount of cultural dominance the United States has. And so you would think as time goes on, words would become more elegant and more descriptive and more effective. And you would not believe it, but we have actually reached the pinnacle of quite the opposite of that. And yes, I'm talking about the entire, I don't even know what to call it, community just of looks maxing or the maxing vernacular. I'm talking about it. And the reason why this sort of, you know, is in my mind, in my brain right now, and my desire to talk about this is because I saw a tweet that was possibly the just most confusing and just string lined together string of words. I think if you showed it to a man from 100 years ago, he'd die of a heart attack. I'm not really gonna show the clip because the clip does feature, this loser clavicular who I really don't, like too much. I think the first time I became aware of him, at least who I became aware of his name, is when he ran over someone and then said that he hopes the person died when he ran that person over. But he actually, has gotten a lot more fame, or you've probably seen him before in a very famous Reddit picture from what I understand. Now, this obviously may not be him, but it looks almost just exactly like the dude. And so let me just, put this up on the screen for 1 second, and then I think you'll remember this image. Pardon the image being like the most pixelated shit of all time, but I'm assuming you've seen this picture before. You have this guy like, showing his physique in the camera, then his mother, I'm assuming, taking a picture of it. And so this image spread around the internet. Now, once again, this might just not be the dude at all, but like I think it's a lot funnier if you do it. But the tweet I want to talk about came from, apparently Clavicular's adventure at Arizona State University, where he is meeting with the frat leader who he apparently has a loving eyes for. I've seen some of the clips and he's in love with that man. He's in love with the ASU's frat leader. Apparently ASU's top frat leader, by the way. And I'm just letting that out there. My analysis on the situation is that I think Clavicular wants to be with the frat leader, but he's too afraid to accept that reality. But anywho, let me read you the clip that the tweet that I saw that basically just made me think that we have peaked as humanity when it comes to the English lexicon. So we have Clavicular ran at ASU's top frat leader while gesture maxing with gym cells and instantly clocked peak cope. That frat fraud leader went full UV dodge maxing and weight cope maxing and fighting fake stats to protect frame after being skull mogged while collab deblocked in nuked cortisol stabilized aura and dodged irreversible PSL bleed by a millimeter. Let me tell you, I probably half of the words in this tweet are words that I saw for legitimately the first time ever while reading this tweet for the first time. And so, like, I don't even know how far we've gone. Apparently, if you just want to make fun of something or say like you're just doing something, instead of saying, I'm walking to, get my cardio in, you got to say I'm cardio maxing just so I'm cardio maxing to the top of my form. I'm exercise maxing. I'm doing all that. I don't know what I don't know what caused there to be an offshoot of people who speak the language to just say, hey, what if we do this to it? What if we just put maxing and mogged and I don't even fucking know what else they'd do into all of this? What if we just like say that and put it on the end of words and then completely just rewrite how to form a sentence? And like, it's not even just that tweet. I've seen some more shit too online. Let me just read another one. Clavicular might be in trouble after finding out his new incel girlfriend's brother is a PSL 8 Terra Chad while he's only a PSL 6 True Chad. What the fuck does any of those words mean? What is a PSL 8 Terra Chad? I don't think I would really want to know. I don't know why they have like a ranking system. They have a PSA ranking. I don't know why they have a PSA ranking for their chadness or whatever. Or chudness maybe. Maybe once you get below 5, you're a chud now. I have legitimately no idea. None of these words make any sense to me, and you would think that like it's you're old and not making with the times. I am 22 years of age. I am too young to be out of the lingo of the kids. Like obviously I understand what the first thing I read was because it's just the word maxing after words that describe what the fuck's going on. But why are we doing a PSA rating for like how Chad someone is? It doesn't really make any sense. Now I've kind of thought about it, while I'm ranting and just like waffling about. Maybe I really don't want to know. I've kind of seen the communities where this language is circulating in, and once again, one of it's starting Clavicular, but a lot of it's like on Kick and all that bullshit. Who do things such as like dancing to Kanye's song H Ace, also known as the one that repeats the words "Hail Hitler" over and over again and acting like they're having a good time. Maybe this really isn't the type of community I want to be in tuned in. Maybe I should just let it be like how you look like the insane person in the insane asylum, just like with a fucking straitjacket, rocking back and forth, just saying the proverbs to themselves, saying whatever they want to say to themselves as they're losing their mind and as they're just losing everything that is makes them human. Maybe that's how I need to leave this because like I feel like it's something where if I go too far, it's kind of gonna radiate on me. It's like if you go to Chernobyl, they'll look around and visit and see the history of it and understand what actually happened. If you get too close to it, the elephant's foot is gonna just like zap you with the cancer beams, and looking for more information is gonna be permanently tainted by the fact that you are now permanently scarred forever and potentially gonna be dead because you went to see this Chernobyl. That's how I feel like if I get too close to this, is I'm just gonna be permanently tainted forever. Where I would just add the word maxing or mogged or whatever the cells to the end of words that I say, and then it's gonna permanently ruin my vernacular. Because like once again, I have to talk to actual like real life human beings, and so like I feel like if I were to accidentally like say any of these words at all for someone who just did not know, for a regular normal human being who has not had the opportunity to read such lovely words. If I think if I said that in front of them, I'd probably just like walk in front of a bus right in front of them if I said that. And my reputation would be irreparably damned. And so like I think it's kind of just also something I want to see of how it develops because it's the first time white people have come up with their own vernacular. People usually steal it from AAVE. That's how a lot of like words get into like the modern English vernacular. And if we leave them to their own devices, maybe they'll come up with just an entirely new language where it's like pig Latin basically, where you add like random modifiers to a bunch of words, just igpe, altenlay, or whatever the fuck they're doing. Maybe that's what it's gonna come into. It's gonna be like one of those fun languages like that, where it's fun to know how it works, but at the same time, it will provide no use in any capacity in any way. But it will be fun to just watch happen as you see a language develop in real time online. I remember back in my day when looks maxing and mogging were only two words that came from this, and now they're being put to everything, and it's fucked up and it's messed up, and I don't know what's happening anymore. But really, this kind of just like is a spur of the moment thing. I just was taken aback. I had to let this mellow in my brain for a little bit, for a few hours before I wanted to talk about it, because like I really just do not know what the fuck happened here. I don't know why Clavicular is getting Jester Max while falling in love with the ASU top frat leader, who I don't even know what his name is. That's just what people look like. He looked kind of like a Dorito, which is kind of fun. And I think I'm glad that anything I really know about this situation is just how once again Clavicular ran over a dude and said, "I hope he's dead," because I feel like that's really all I want to know about him, other than him once again falling in love with ASU frat leader and also singing the Hail Hitler song. Anyway, that's really all I got for today. I'm sorry for hurting your ears with the words that I've said today. Absolutely just terrorizing your ears with looks maxing and I don't know, jester maxing and chud cell or whatever the fuck they're saying. It's my curse to have known that these words exist, and so because of it, it is now your curse. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.